Hello everyone, Slightly here, your average starving artist, and I'm here to show you some advanced Rust painting techniques. So this program is very basic and I'm inside of Rust right now, Rust the game. It's an FPS sandbox survival game. If you've never played it, it's usually very intense and player versus player oriented, but also you can paint pictures for some reason. And I love it. So I wanted to show you 4 very important advanced techniques that you can use to make beautiful art in Rust. So the first thing you might notice is that in this program there is no eraser. There's also no layers, no undo button. You really almost have to treat it like real media because you have this very limited palette and limited tool selection. So if you were to do something like mess up, what do? You can't erase. The whole thing is ruined, right? Well, there's some techniques you can use to kind of help you with this. When I'm doing a painting, I always do a nice full coat of paint. So this is going to be your background layer, and you want it to be flat. You don't want to add a lot of shading or really do much of at all until later, because since we have this background color picked right off the palette, now you can do something like this. Now you can, oh wait, I don't want that. There's no undo button. What do? Well, boop, 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 boop. It's almost as if we have an eraser. And of course, you can use it in interesting ways as well. You can do something like, bigger and softer. It's hard to be soft in this program. And then you take this, get a hard edge, and just zoop, zoop, So this is tip number 1. There is no eraser, but there is using the background as an eraser. Very basic, just like MS Paint, right? Easy. So that's number 1, most basic thing that you'll need to know, because you'll probably be doing this a lot. I know that I am always using the eraser, air quotes. So let's just fill up the rest of this canvas. And there's another very cool technique. Okay. Boom, straight line. How even? Let me show you that one more time. Boom, straight line. And notice I didn't draw the path of the line. It just filled it in. So, okay, how does this work? I'll explain. Okay, I make a mark. I'm pressing down. Now I hold the shift button. I'm holding shift. I release the mouse. And now I move the cursor to where I want the other end of the line to be. And I press down and I release shift. So I'll do that one more time. You see how it's perfect straight line? So press it down, hold shift, release, press, release shift. Do it one more time. Press, shift, press, release shift. Easy. And looks great. Very nice. So another technique that I find to be extremely useful is blending with soft gradients and low opacity. So I actually prefer the square brush, and that may seem counterintuitive because it has the hardest edges of all the brushes, but The thing about a brush like this is that you throw it on low opacity, you have it on the largest setting, and it actually creates somewhat of a like a painted looking texture. So it's this cool, like it looks like brush strokes, right? So I'll often use this exact brush and do this exact technique. It gives a very cool, like, painted look. And then you can take, you know, your other colors and kind of blend in. So I have all my brush is on the lowest opacity. That means that it is the most transparent it can be. I'm putting down as little paint as possible. And you see when you layer on top, you can get a soft transition. And now I'll go back to the black, soften it up. And an interesting thing about painting in Rust is that layering the colors actually does make a big difference. It can peek out through this paint and kind of have interesting effects. It'll look different depending on what color is layered underneath. If you're using low opacity brushes, it'll always kind of peek the color out a little bit. So let's see. So if I do like, you see how I'm painting on top of both of these circles, but you see that this blue on top of this white is actually, it looks totally different, right? So you can use this layering to also get access to more colors. So back to this blending, you know, I'll take another tone that I wanted to transition into, and I'll just add this to the top, and then I'll get my middle tone back out. And you see how where these colors overlap, it actually creates a kind of cool effect. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's very subtle, but it looks really cool, and it's one of those little things that adds a lot of character to your painting. So I'll go back in, and a lot of blending, just like in real life blending with paint, is just kind of going back and forth, push and pull. You know, you want it to be the exact transition you want. And I like it when it's a little rough and it has some texture to it, because it looks more like a real painting. And that's usually my goal, is to like have it be a painted look. So the last technique I wanted to show you is actually my absolute favorite. There is a hidden color palette in the Rust painting editor. If you click between these circles, there's actually hidden colors. And this is what it really looks like behind all of this. Yeah, like, it's almost kind of disturbing. I wish that, you know, it wasn't so green heavy on the top, but that's okay, because at least if we are careful with where we pick the colors, we can get some really cool little skin tones. And these are definitely my favorite colors to use. And you see, there's subtlety to... Oops. There it is. This isn't white. This is actually very pale skin tone. And one thing about it is you see that in the palette behind all of it, it's not solid. It's all gradiated, you know, transitioning between all different colors. That's one thing that makes it a little tricky, is when you're picking the color, you really want to pick the same color that you've already picked. If you're going to, you know, I do this face and then I do some hair, I realize, oh, I gotta fix up this face. I really want the same exact color. Well, it is a bit of a challenge, but you sort of get an eye for where the right skin tone is after you pick through it quite a bit. And then you can do all kinds of nice stuff. There's even a really nice pink in here that you can kind of put on for blush. And this whole time I've been using just a square brush, but of course there's all these really soft brushes, and this leftmost soft brush is actually very interesting. If you have it on the lowest opacity, it'll be very difficult to see, but it has really interesting effects on the colors. It's kind of not what you expect. And right now, I even have it on the largest size, but it looks small because the edges are so soft and feathered out. It looks kind of like it's a small brush instead, but it's actually the full size, largest size you can do of this brush. And if you see here, the way it interacts with the colors underneath it is very interesting. When you use the soft brush, I like to sometimes go in and just do little subtle bits, and you have to go over it quite a bit since you know, if you're using the lowest opacity, you can bump it up to the second one if it's not really working for you and you just want a little more from it. Or you can experiment. You know, I recommend experimenting, of course. Like the third level, it's nice, it's soft. And look how different it looks on top of these colors, though. That's one thing I find very interesting about rust painting, is that the lower the opacity you're putting on top of the color, the more different it interacts with it. And, you know, it almost looks like a different hue. This very low opacity section I did with the lowest opacity of the brush looks pink on top of all of this. And well, it is kind of a pinkish color, and you can see here I've raised the opacity, and now you can see more of what the true color is. But on these soft edges, it's almost orange, not pink like this. It's kind of orange. So there's all kinds of really interesting little effects you can get from all these techniques and different layering of colors and tools, and I definitely recommend experimenting a lot. And we can do a tiny little picture to kind of demonstrate all of this. So I'm going to just grab a little square brush, and over here there's a nice deep red. I'm just gonna do something simple. So look, I got the base here, and there's actually a dark red here that I'm gonna put like this. And then I'm gonna shrink this brush and do a little bit of detail. Maybe put in a little shadow. And it's okay if that shadow is a little misshapen, because we already have a background color and we can just use that to erase the weirdness in the shape and fix it up a little bit. Well, that's not much better, but you get the idea. Okay. Get a little stamp for the apple. It is an apple, okay, and see how it's kind of did not become a solid color here. It's because I used the opacity I use is too low. So let's get a higher opacity and then redraw that, and now it's all nice one solid color. And I'll get this, lower the opacity, just put little details. And grab this again, blend it a little bit, and let's see if I can get the same red. One thing I like to do when I'm painting is I'll have just like one little area on the side that I'm not drawing in, that is just blank, just background, so I can test colors, because once you pick a color, you can't really see what color you have. If you're using a low opacity brush, if you like, you know, turn it up, then you can see in the preview what color it is. But if you're just going back and forth and using a lot of low opacity brushes, you can't really tell from the preview. So I have this habit of just like doing a little test splotch right here. So that color actually looks pretty good. And another thing is that if your brush is really small, like the smallest, even if it's really low opacity, it's gonna show up very strong, very strong. It's gonna look higher opacity than you intended, perhaps even like a comparison of, this is the largest size brush. Look how, when I just do one stroke, how faint it is, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 4 strokes to get from one stroke is the lowest opacity, and 4 strokes is up to, you know, solid color. So if I do 1, 2, it's harder to see, yes, but you see how like how much faster it kind of seems to get pulled out. Like that was pretty much 2 strokes, and it's up to the correct opacity and the, you know, highest saturation. So in painting, you generally want to use the largest brush you can and then work your way down to the smallest. So it also comes into play in Rust because of the opacity and how it's gonna look a lot more vibrant and more opaque the smaller the brush is. So I'm just kind of trying to do a little bit of blendy, little bit. It's tough with this small brushy, and I'm using a square brush because I like the texture it creates on the apple. I just think it looks kind of cool. And let's see, we'll add a little bit of this is some highlight. I'll make it a little smaller. Not bad, not bad. And let's see, something that's like a bright, you know what, maybe that's it. I'm gonna try soft brush. And here's another tip. Okay, so I'm about to put on a color. I'm not sure if it's the color I want. I'm just gonna hit that save button right now. And a pro tip, when you hit escape while you're inside of the painting editor in Rust, it doesn't exit, it doesn't delete, it saves. So if you do something and then you hit escape, meaning to exit the painting editor in order to reset your progress, it will not. It will save it instead. So what I mean by that is I hit the save button. So this is saved now. It's in a saved state. I can exit the painting and it's all still there, and I can get back in and it's all still there. So let's say I just am painting, but then I mess up. I messed it up. Okay, do not hit save. This is kind of like your fake undo. You can checkpoint it almost. So I'm just gonna hit cancel and boom. Okay, it's almost like hitting undo. But then one disadvantage is you have to go back in. You have to fix up your canvas view, because every time you enter and exit a painting in Rust, it'll reset the view. So you have to go all the way back in, get it exactly how you want. So back to this apple, we were saying that we want to add a highlight, not really sure what color it's gonna be. So I am just gonna pick, let's go for, there's a yellow inside here actually. Whoa, that's a little green. Okay, that's even more green. All right. See, it's really hard. That's why I have this little test area. Okay, great. That looks really good, actually. So I have this brush. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, and I'm just gonna add big ol' highlight. and make it a little smaller. Kind of try to add some detail because it's okay if it doesn't look quite right. I can go in with the red and kind of fix it a little bit. And make it a little bigger, even bigger than that. We can soften those edges up. Pretty cool. I'm going back in with the darker red, I think, yes. And just adding dark red. And now I'm gonna add more light red. I may have messed it up a little bit. I really did just now. Oops, I grabbed the wrong color. I'm in black right now. That's okay. It's all good. I had saved it before, so if I really hate what it looks like, I can just reset it. But I can just decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna take, I like the values, that's cool. I kind of missed, my texture is gone now. You know what, I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back. Joop, joop, joop. Oop. The red I want is up here. Okay, we're bringing it back. Is this the right one? Probably. That's good. That's good. Yay! Nice. I think I want to leave it a little bit rough. Oh, that was my bad. Okay, and I actually feel like this should have been done with the square brush. So I'm gonna undo this a bit, and then I want to. Where was that? It was. I think it was this. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Ooh. Okay, what I want to do is make this shape, and then I'll use this red to kind of sculpt it a little bit. Nice. I forgot to do the highlight on this side. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. I'll take this color again, and I just want to do really small. What if I just go crazy here? I'm drawing an apple. Somebody stop me. Why am I still drawing this apple? Please stop, please stop, please stop. I need to stop. Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me. Okay, how about I add like a leaf? You know, one unfortunate thing is that these greens actually are not that harmonious. There's about how many greens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. I mean, this is all kind of in the same family, but they're not very harmonious. They're actually all slightly different hues, and the ones that are like similar hues are, you know, not super useful jumps in value. So you don't have a ton of things you can do with this many greens. Well, for me at least, I'm not really like a big green user. So there is a hidden green that's down here. It's kind of a tough one to pick out because it's in the middle of two other colors. There we go. This is my hidden green. Here's another small tip. The smallest brush available is the circle brush. It is this, and if that this is at the lowest opacity, very hard to see. So that's the smallest brush. That's like the 1 pixel brush. Even though the square looks like the shape of a pixel, it's larger. And then if you see, you go back to circle brush. This is the second highest size. Look how much of a jump that is. It's crazy. You can go back to this brush, this size. Look at that. So you really have to go between these 2 brushes mostly for all the variation in size you need. So it's kind of like smallest is circle, and then you jump to the square, and then you jump back to circle to get the, you know, right scale in your sizes and stuff. So let's see, okay, great. I'm gonna add in like a leaf or something. I'm gonna lower the opacity a little bit so the edges feel soft. I'm gonna make it even smaller. Actually, let's go like that, and then that'll give me an excuse. Lower the opacity and just, oh my gosh. No, I did not ruin it. Stop. Stop. Okay, look, I'm just gonna do that. I added some black, and then I can go on top of it with this red. Okay. Oh. Small. Blend. Take my other red. Blend, 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 blend. Blend, 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 blend. Blending, blending, blend. Oh look, that looks kind of cool. Let's just let that breathe a little bit. I'm gonna take this freaking neon green. It's really intense. I'm just gonna make it low. I'm trying to visualize this leaf right now, so let's see, it'd be like, let's get this in here. And then go back to push and pull of the painting. Yeah, I have no idea if this is the same green, but it's close enough. Blend, blend, blend. I went too far. This is how we can see it. I always forget where this green is. It's like here? No. Here? Kind of. Oh. Well, see, happy little accidents. I accidentally pulled out this color, and you know what? That might as well be the highlight color. So we'll just let that be like that. And now I'm taking my background color, middle opacity, very small brush, and I'm just gonna clean up all these edges. smaller, clean edges. Very clean. Clean up this. Yeah, that kind of looks like an apple, I guess. Hit the update button. Get this updated. Alright, now you can see it in game. And as you might notice, like the lighting is a little different when you look at it in game. That adds to the charm though. You can even turn on a little tuna can and get some warm lighting on top of it. That's very cute. Very, very cute. Look at this. Look at this. It's... Don't look at it. Don't. So, these are most of the techniques I use when I'm making a picture. And I'll try to think of more so I can let you know. But if you learn how to find the hidden colors, use the opacity to your advantage and different shape brushes, and straight lines too, those are really good. I find those to be the most useful when I'm doing neon signs. It's generally in the paintings, they're more organic, soft shapes that don't have a lot of straight lines, but this technique you can use anything. Yeah. Draw a little forest, just do some lines. I don't know, you can use it for lettering. It's very cool. So remember to get your background color on first, so you'll be able to use that as an eraser, and then it'll make the rest of it a lot easier. You can use your straight lines, your blending techniques, and your hidden palette to make cute, refreshing artwork like this apple or anything else you can possibly imagine. Good luck. I really hope you have fun, because this is one of my favorite things to do. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, if there's anything else you'd like to see, or a request, drawing request, just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Have a good one.